Alrighty, Thomas, that ought to just about do it. Here at Weyerhaeuser, we have a goal of 0 incidents. Safety is our #1 goal. The tarping stations that we're in the process of placing in all of our facilities is just another tool to assure that goal gets met day in and day out. This is our tarping roll bar assembly.
To work the assembly, we have a selector switch. It's got a lower and a raise button. You want to lower the button down until the assembly comes down slightly behind the truck with the roll bar slightly above the top of the load. Now to raise it, you just put the selector switch to the raised position to raise it back into its normal stowed position.
Got it, Butch.
Okay, this is the hoist system for our tarping system. We have an on button and an off button. Okay, now in order to pick up our canvas, we're going to take our winch, our hoist winch, and we're going to lower it down with the lower button. And then once we get our hoist down into position and we get our tarp hooked up, what we will do is raise the tarp by pushing the up button. We'll raise the tarp up into a position that we can be moving across the truck. Our other buttons, we have forward and reverse, which drives a tractor on our I-beam, and as we go forward, we'll drive the tractor across the I-beam, pulling our canvas onto the load. Okay, this is our down button for our chain hoist. It's going to come down and we're going to pick our tarp up with this. When we get our tarp, we're going to pick it up with the up button. It's going to take our tarp back up over our roll bar. As we want to move forward with the system, we're going to press our forward button, taking it forward and then dropping it down onto the load. This is our snap hook. It's positioned on our spreader bar. Once we let our spreader bar down, we're going to detach the lanyard from it. We're going to hook in our canvas to our snap hook, making sure it's secure. Once we move our canvas over on top of our load, with a quick snatch of this, we can release the canvas on top of the load without climbing on the trucks.
Proper lineup upon entering the tarping station is crucial. It's very important that your rig be straight and just to the inside of the yellow line painted on the concrete slab. As you can see, here comes the truck entering the tarping station now. He's lining up just to the inside of the yellow line. Straightening up his rig for the entry. Just to the inside of the yellow line. Now he's lining up straight with the tarping guide. Looks great. Great job, Thomas. Lineup is crucial in order for the process to work correctly. The loading truck must be lined up correctly in the tarping station. Safety is a must, and Thomas has done a perfect job on getting it lined up and lined up correctly. At this time, they're checking the straps to make sure the load is secure. Remember, safety is the #1 job, always. Great job, guys. The load is now in place in the tarping station. It's lined up perfectly in order to pull the tarps correctly. As you can see, Thomas is putting on his PPE, his gloves for handling his tarps or whatever. Remember, safety has always got to be first. Done a good job, guys. Thomas is fixing to lay out his tarp, get it into position or whatever to pull it over his load. What you have to do is lay your tarp out at the rear of the load, spread it out so the top seams and hooks on the tarp are up so they can actually be connected onto the bar that will raise the tarp up. It's very crucial and important though that your tarp be laid out correctly. If you have flaps on your tarp, you must have them in the right position. The back tarp must always be pulled first in order for the process to work correctly. The reason for that being is so you can have the proper overlap whenever you start to pull your front tarp over your load. At this time, as you can see, he's spreading the tarps out. And these are the rings in the center of the tarp that Thomas is going to hook the bar up to. Once he gets it in position, locks the snap ring in, the tarp's secure. Repeat the process on the opposite side. It must be in the center of the tarp for it to pull correctly.
You have to tie your bar down there.
All right, Thomas has got it hooked up. He's done a great job. Way to go, Thomas. At this time, Thomas is fixing to raise the tarp to get it into position to go over the load. The system is ready to pull up about 500 pounds, which no tarps, weigh that much. It's crucial that the tarp be unfolded on each side, and also that your tarp release cables are in position so once the tarp is over the load, it can be released. You only need to raise the tarp up enough to clear the tarp guide. Thomas is just about ready to start pulling his tarp. All right, Thomas is now going to activate the hoist system to pull the first tarp over the load. It's important that you put the back tarp on first. Once he gets the tarp into position, he may want to go just a little bit too far forward. Remember, you can always pull your tarp back some, but you can't pull it forward once it's been released. Thomas is doing a good job of getting the tarp pulled and in position. Great job. As you can see, he's got it in the position he needs it. He's going to lower the hoist. Once the hoist is lowered to where he can release the release cables, he will release the tarp guide pull and come back to get his second tarp. Thomas is doing good. His tarp's in position. He's done a great job on it. He's releasing the other side at this time. Thomas,
I got it.
I want to compliment you on doing a good job, man. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you.
Look good.
Good job.
That's the way it's applied. He done a great job. At this time, Thomas, as you can see, is lowering the tarp guide so he can pull his tarp into proper position. Once he has it down, out of the way, he can now pull his tarp to where he needs it to be at. Remember, it's okay to get on the back of your truck or front of your trailer, but you cannot get over 6 feet off the ground. That is the complete object of the tarping system, is to keep you from being over 6 foot above floor level and not being secured. Good job, Thomas. He's about to get his tarp lined up and be ready to pull his second and final tarp. At this time, Thomas is going to pull his second tarp out. Bring it to the rear of the trailer, spread it out for pulling. So we'll repeat process of the first step. Thomas is getting ready to pull his second tarp. As you can see, he's hooking up the snap rings to the center of the tarp. And remember, line up for your tarp is very important. It's got to be in the center of the load and directly to the rear of the truck. As you can see, Thomas has moved his release ring out of the way so it will hang over the side of the truck, so once the tarp's in position, he can pull it to release the snap ring. Thomas is doing a good job. Here it goes in the correct position to pull the tarp. Remember, the tarp needs to be high enough to clear the tarp guide by about 1.5 to 2 foot. It's really working well. It's a good system. And remember what this is all about, safety. Thomas has now got the tarp in position or whatever to correct height. As you can see, the trolley system's pulling the second tarp into place. You want to pay close attention to the sides of your tarp, and if you notice anything hanging, stop the process, check to see what may be hanging or what the problem may be. Once your tarp is in the most forward position, then you'd want to take the cable. This is connected to your snap ring, which is connected to the center of your tarp. What you want to do is give it a tug to release the tarp. Once it's released, you raise the whole system up, move it back to the home position so it'll be in place for the next driver. It's very important that once you pull a tarp that you always bring the trolley and hoist system back to the home position, which is the far back end of the trolley hoist system, which you can see here. Very important that you do that before any other step is taken or the load's moving in any way.